What's happening, everybody? I'm Jay's Machine, and we are playing StarMade here on the Star Squadron survival server. I hope you're doing well today. I'm not doing too bad. I got a nice fresh cup of coffee in front of me, and I'm well rested. And I have a project that we're going to start on here at the space station. Today we're going to be working down at the factory level. I have a new idea on how I want to handle this. Alright, so I was thinking about all of the different uses and all the different recipes that are out there. And then I was thinking, you know, well, here you have the ability to link different factories together and make things. So we are out here in build mode, out in space, and we are going to extend the factory unit out. In fact, we're going to make a factory floor that's going to take up this area, and that's going to allow us to have very specific factory modules put together. And each module is basically like a daisy chain of different items that create a specific material that you need in the game. Like, there's going to be the hull forge, and that machine is just supposed to just be used for making hull and mass production. There's going to be the paint mixer, which is going to allow you to have mass, amounts of paint, thus mass amounts of colored hull. So anyway, I'm going to get building here. I've got some ideas. I'm not exactly sure where I want to go with it exactly, but I know how various elements of the finished product are supposed to look. This is what I call a factory floor. So these rails here are just decorative. So these yellow bits here with the black and the hazard, all that, each of these is going to be a bay in which one of our advanced factory setups is going to be located. So we're going to start from the front and work our way backwards as far as putting things in. The first two things that I want to make, primarily I'm going to be putting in a hull forge and a paint mixer. So we're going to make those out of our basic factory units and then link them together with some storage, and then we're going to just make something that looks like a machine using the blocks and such. Alright, so we have a mixer that I made, and we have a hull forge. I figured that having a lot of lava in this would make it look more like it's taking something from raw material and smelting it into forge. Basically the idea behind this particular machine is that it has 5 different basic factories. This one down here is going to be responsible for mass producing the whole block, and then each of the other 4 that surround the outer sides are going to be responsible for taking care of a specific hull shape. This bit takes a lot of work to type everything in, but in the end, it's pretty much worth it. At least in my opinion. We also have to link everything together properly, so right now what I'm doing is just changing up what each of these is supposed to produce. Now when I'm working with these sort of advanced factory modules, I like to have an input and an output. The input is, of course, a chest that is specifically set up to pull various items from a specific category. So we make hull out of 2 different things here. We have crystal composite, and let's make that thing pull 100 crystal composite per tick. And then the other thing that is used to make hull is alloyed metal mesh is used. Quantity, just click that right there. Quantity 100. Now this says 1, but it will fix once we've gotten out of here. And just to show you that it has, there we go. So this chest is specifically designed to pick up just the crystal composite, so we're going to grab it from another place where we know we usually have it. Basically what we're going to end up doing is making a drop box where we're going to put everything, and then little by little our system is going to pull the necessary ingredients away from the drop box. But right now we would just want this thing making hull, so we're going to have it grabbing a bunch of different stuff, probably from back here. Let's take a look. Yeah, we're going to have it grabbing the crystal component and the alloyed metal mesh straight out of here. So let's take that and connect it the other way then. There we go. Very good. So this thing is going to sit here and pull these sources out of here. And then this is going to connect to this. This is our hull. So let's connect that to here. And let's just double check. It is now producing gray hull. So we're going to run all the hull straight through this thing right here. And this is currently hooked up to these guys, which are just a handful of factory enhancers. And these factory enhancers basically allow this to keep up with the production of everything else here. We're going to let this run for a moment, and then we're going to connect these secondary machines up to our primary hull maker. Now you can see all the conduits running from the different factories. If that's not something you like, you could always just take it out. I don't know how I feel about it personally. I kind of don't like it. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put this lava block right here instead. And we can just leave this empty for the time being. If I stuck this down in the very middle, on the very bottom, I could hide it all, but I don't know. We'll come back to this later. Right now, this thing is making hull, but what we need to do is have it go all into here. So let's see, are we pulling the hull out of here yet? No, because we're going to have this thing activated. So let's, oops, auto pull, add category. Gray basic hull. Yeah, I think we're just going to have it pull one at a time for the time being. We can change this in the future, obviously. Let's see. Have we hooked it up right? Will we get any hull out of here? We will. Okay, so now that that's the case, let's make sure that we are hooking this chest up to all the factories. Dracart's saying hello. Hello. Dracart. Alright, so we're going to finish working on this and I'll be right back. Alright, what we're going to need to do is add a couple more factory enhancers. The reason why we need some more factory enhancers is because we are underperforming on our regular block. So we're just going to add a good handful. We're already good. Let's activate. Alright, so we got 10 more of these guys. Let's make sure we got good. I'm going to hide these under the floor here as well. Alright, let's check that output now. Also, after checking to make sure this was connected, our input hopper is connected to the resources that are coming out of the refinery up there. Everything now is working well, it looks like. So now, what we have to do is connect up our paint factory here, our paint mixer. And basically, this is our input, and this is our output. But I like to keep the output towards the back and the input towards the front, so this is going to be where we're going to be pulling the stuff from. So let's set up our input on our paint mixer. This is going to be auto-pulling specific items. It's everything that we make the paint out of, so... There we go. We just had to make sure that was hooked up to the machine that had those bits in it. Now each of these is a factory, a basic factory, but each of these is also going to be responsible for making one type of paint. And again, this part is a little tedious, but setting up your stuff, it's worth it in the end. Honestly, it's worth it. The green paint, now that we got all 8 of those colors put in, we can make all the other colors of paint. I think, what is it, just brown that you have to use a mixture of paints for? Now I'm going to make these do 2 paint bits at a time. So what I'm going to do here is make sure that each of these is linked up to one factory enhancer. Check up on this thing. Yeah, we are doing well so far. Don't have all the pieces we need apparently, but let's try to hook these guys up and see if they will produce. Let me try the other way here. This to that. Of course, if I don't have green in here, it's not going to work, right? Exactly. Alright, let's try this to that. Let's reverse this. Again, this is something I end up just messing with over and over again. I never end up remembering which one I'm supposed to do. So, let's see. Do we have enough cinnabar? We can make red paint with the cinnabar. No, because we need red capsules, right? Alright, so that whole bit that we did about naming each of these and having the auto pull items all be the right thing, we gotta delete them all. Delete, 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 delete. Now we need to put the capsules in. Goodness gracious. This one's going to be a little bit easier though, because if we put the capsules in, we can remove stuff. So we're going to add it as a category this time. Capsules pulling at 25 quantity. Now we just removed the ones that are not based in the paint colors. Alright, we've removed all of the other capsules. This should just pull out what we need now. Let's see. Activate. First off, is it hooked up to the right machine over here? No, it's not, so. And see if it's going to work for us this time. Yep. Works. Alright, so now these guys are pulling in quantities of 25, and the paint mixer should be stripping these off. Nope, which means we have this thing set up wrong. That is fine. Let's see, we're going to connect that to that. Is this producing anything at this point? Yep, this is, because this one actually is hooked up right. So each individual one needs to be hooked up to the chest to pull. Alright, so all of these guys should now be producing paint. Yep, they're all producing paint at 2 containers per tick. Now we want them all to go into here. So we'll reconnect this and get them all in one fell swoop. You have this thing auto pull everything. And this, because it only produces paint, will only produce, will only pull the actual paint out of here. There we go. Fully functional auto producer of paints is working, so we got our working paint mixer. Now this and this working together, you can now have endless supply of any of the colors that you need and a much easier way of making them. Let's go over here. We're going to drop a computer into this face right here. This is right. If I hook these up properly. I would like to make some green hull. Yep. Green hull. We want some brown hull. No problem, brown hull. Got you covered. Now this thing is going to grab all of your stuff if you don't turn off these things. This is your input, this is your output right there, so let's make sure this thing is not pulling any more real quick. We're going to deactivate that, and that's how you can shut off your machines. They won't take anything more from their sources, but they'll still be able to produce. We're going to do the same thing with this guy here. So that is that. That's how you turn your factory units on. These are your advanced factory modules, pretty much. Very cool stuff, very cool. And basically this is your answer to handling larger stuff. This thing will handle large quantities of any one item per advanced factory. But if you want to get into the more specifics, the bigger items, the stuff that gets used a lot, hull, you use a lot of hull, paint, you're going to use a lot of paint. So things like that, that is what you're going to want to set up things for. I'm going to make a glass press or a glazier forge of some sort. I think we're going to put in some other machines in here as we come up with the need for them. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to wrap this episode up right here. I hope you learned something, and I hope you got inspired. These are just simple looking machines. I know you guys got a lot more artistic talent than I do when it comes to building stuff. So if you come up with your own machines, remember the idea is that their function, form is supposed to go with function. So that's why these guys here have tubes of paint that are running up into the factory, so it looks like the paint is being sucked out or whatever. So that is pretty much that. Guys, I hope to have some more stuff finished on this thing to show you next time. Until then, I will see you